Hey y'all, it's Megan, and today we're gonna talk about self-love. Okay, loving yourself is much easier said than done. There's a lot of things that we have to be conscious about if we want to learn how to love who we are. So first things first, like, comment, share, subscribe, and in the comment section below, drop some suggestions of videos that you want to see in the future. Something that people really underestimate is the power of positive self-talk. What does that mean? You have to be comfortable with complimenting yourself. It's okay to acknowledge your good qualities, okay? The way that you talk to yourself and the way that you talk about yourself says a lot about your character. I know that I have had a really bad problem with not knowing how to talk to myself positively. Every time I mess up, I'm just prone to talking about how stupid I am. Like, I literally just call myself dumb. And you can't just walk around talking about how dumb you are. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone has flaws, but you can be honest with yourself without being self-depreciating. Just beating yourself up and just constantly hyperfixating on everything that's wrong with you is not productive at all. Even if you do things that are really cringy, and even if you make mistakes, even though you should have known better, like, you have to give yourself the grace to redirect that kind of language. So instead of thinking about everything that's wrong with you, thinking about how ugly you are, just think, okay, well, I know that now. Or, know that there's opportunity for growth. Like, I just feel like my main response to bad things that are happening in my life is to just talk terribly about myself and just talk about how much of a bad person I am and how incompetent I am, and I'm just not capable and I'm just not intelligent, even though I don't genuinely believe that. But it's like, in the heat of the moment, that's the only thing that I can say. And I feel like it starts off as a coping mechanism. Like, a lot of times we make light of our situations and try to laugh off our mistakes, like, I'm so dumb. But it kind of turns into a regular thing to the point where you actually are calling yourself unintelligent. Or maybe if you've been single for a long time, you're just like, oh, I'm just undateable. Nobody wants me. You can't just hyper fixate on the things that are wrong with your life and make it seem like that is your entire reality. It's not like everything bad that has ever happened to you defines you. So we just have to change our language and get comfortable with complimenting ourselves. Even if you mess up, allow yourself to channel that energy in a positive way. The next thing I want to talk about is something that we hear all the time, and it's to stop comparing yourself to other people. And this is basically impossible, especially in this era of social media. This is something that I am extremely guilty of. A lot of times we do that to make ourselves feel worse, and a lot of times we do it to make ourselves feel better. But there is no circumstance ever where you should compare yourself to anyone in any capacity. Even if you're just using someone else as an example for motivation, you're still comparing yourselves to them because you're thinking, okay, how can I get like them? Okay, they look like that and I look like this. So how can I make myself look less like myself and more like them? How can I make as much money as they're making? The only person that you should be compared to is yourself. No one's better than you. You're not better than anyone. We should only try to be better than we were. It's just not fair to make comparisons because everyone's life path is unique. Regardless of how many things you have in common with the next person, you are not them and they are not you. So comparing yourself to someone else is completely unproductive. And I understand that sometimes we may admire somebody else and, we just want to get like them. How did they do it? But it's just a trap. Like, it's honestly a trap. I cannot stress this enough. Like, come closely. There is no circumstance where you should compare yourself to anyone else. I can tell you how many times I didn't feel like I was attractive because of other people that I saw around me. I felt like I was inadequate and I wasn't doing enough with my life because people my age were getting degrees and starting families and I am not. But like, everybody's life path is unique, okay? Get over it. You should only compare yourself to yourself. As long as you're better today than you were yesterday, and as long as you strive to be better tomorrow than you are today, then you're on the right track. It doesn't matter what anyone else's life looks like. It doesn't matter what someone else is doing compared to what you're doing, because I guarantee you, for everything that you envy about someone else, there's someone who envies just as much stuff about you. So if we're focused on somebody else's life and what they're doing, then we can't put that attention on ourselves for self-improvement. And And the opposite is true. You can't compare yourself to someone else to make yourself feel better. A lot of times, if we need an ego boost or we just want to feel better about our lives, we will compare ourselves to someone else so we can feel superior. Like we will take one glance at someone's lifestyle or someone's appearance and we will judge them as if we are any better than they are. Like I said, everybody's life path is unique, so comparison is such a waste of time. This is also really important. You are the company that you keep. You are who you hang around. So you need to surround yourself with like-minded people who are going to uplift you and enable you to do better and hold you accountable. We all go through phases and chapters of our life, and not everybody around you is meant to go with you into the next chapter. Even your family, even your best friends, even your closest circle of people, if they are not people who are going to help you be a better person and allow you to help them be a better person, then you just need to love them from a distance. Like, you don't have to cut people off. You don't have to act like they don't exist. It's not like you're not friends anymore. But if you are not surrounded by the right influence, there's no way that you can learn how to love yourself. There's definitely been times that I've had to distance myself from people because there were changes that I wanted to make to my life and they just didn't get it. If you are surrounded by people who just don't get it, then you need to be surrounded by different people. There's no way you're going to be a better person if you're around the same people and doing the same things. It's definitely possible to grow and elevate with the same people, but that's the thing. Like, you have to be mindful about the company you keep so that you are allowed to grow with these people, or at least they're going to be supportive of you as you make changes to your life. Because if they are unsupportive or if they are in spaces that you shouldn't be in, then you gotta cut them off. You know, good, true friends, people who are real, they are supportive of you, but they will also hold you accountable. They're not just yes men who are just gonna agree with everything you say and everything you do. They're able to acknowledge areas where you have room for improvement. Like, people who are good friends can see things that you can't see. So they will allow you to make necessary changes to your life. If they are just not hanging out in the spaces that you need to be in, then just hang out with them less. You can tell a lot about a person based off of the people they hang around because their personality is gonna rub off on you. Like, you have to make sure you're around people that are a good influence around you and people who you can be a good influence on. So when people think of self-care and they think of self-love, they just think of taking bubble baths and going on shopping sprees, just spoiling yourself and indulging. But actually, self-love equals discipline. If you have the self-discipline to refrain from people, environments, and habits that are not going to benefit you, you will learn how to love yourself. I'm telling you, I can think of the exact time in my life when I learned what self-love was. I'm not sure how it clicked, but instead of just falling into the same old habits and doing things that just made me comfortable and doing things that I thought were pleasurable on the surface, and I stopped doing those things and I started to be more mindful of my choices and be mindful of the people that I allowed to influence me. That's whenever I learned what self-love was. Like, as nice as it sounds to go take a bubble bath and go eat whatever you want and just do whatever you want without any type of boundaries, self-love is self-discipline. It's very important to know how to make choices that are for your own good. It's important to know how to put your needs before your wants. Obviously, it's a good thing to, enjoy yourself, do the things that you like, but you have to give yourself boundaries and you have to have the discipline, the self-awareness, and just the conscious decision making to use discernment. We all have free will, but if you use your free will to make decisions that are going to be in your best interest, you're going to learn how to love yourself. If you don't love yourself and you don't have self-respect, then you're going to constantly be in situations that you shouldn't be in. And you're going to be frustrated and you're not going to understand what it is. But the more you respect yourself, the more that you're able to appreciate the quality of your life, and the more that the people around you are going to respect you. If you have no respect for yourself and you have no boundaries, people are going to disrespect you, and people are going to cross those boundaries because you just have no sense of what your worth is. Like, you have to acknowledge your self-worth, and you have to be in situations and surround yourself with people that are going to add value to your life. So that is why discipline is very important, and that is why I always tell you to exercise your mind, body, and soul so you can be stronger.